I get folks who ask me for advice on this all the time of like, how would you go about doing this again? And quite candidly, like without Stanford, I have no idea how I would do it. And so I think that's a major problem that we need to fix as a country and as a sort of procurement organization. But I'll give essentially the story. So I joined the reserves, had this experience going through my initial reserve training, had kind of just this feeling of like, man, we could really improve the way that this is done. And I love sports, but almost like bigger opportunity that we could go capture as a company and as a team. But neither me nor my co-founder really knew how you would actually go work with the Department of Defense. It's like you just call a general, you just like send them a text, like, I've got a thing that's better here. How does this actually work? And so Andrew and I ended up finding a class at Stanford called Hacking for Defense that's taught by some of the like leading folks in defense innovation. So Steve Blank, Pete Newell, Joe Felter, that crew. And basically the way the class is designed is they take essentially problems that the Department of Defense faces and they give them to Stanford students to go solve. And so Andrew and I already had this sort of hypothesis that we could work with the Department of Defense. We also had a fully functional technology that we could go test and iterate. We were also still in graduate school at Stanford. So Andrew and I took this class and through it got paired with a group from the Air Combat Command. And with them basically ended up taking our pre-existing technology and taking a lot of learnings and best practices that we had from these football teams and essentially applying them to military training. Coming out of that class, we won a direct to phase two SBIR through AFWorks. And then 6 months later, some of the folks who had been working on our team while we were in the class had actually worked on the Fitzgerald-McCain collision. And they were like, hey, your technology and what you're building could have made a difference potentially in that Fitzgerald-McCain collision, given all of, if you're going to work it back, like all of the different training mishaps that happened on their way to actually these two things colliding and costing lives and millions of dollars. I think that there's a world where this could be really impactful for the Navy as well, too.